Hi, it's Randi Sloane with Real Life, and I am at the Long Island International Film Expo. And I am very excited to be standing next to three very handsome men, but very talented as well. They will tell you about the film Strange Fruit, or Fruta Extraña. And please introduce yourselves.
My name is Issack Cintrón. I am the writer, director, and editor of Strange Fruit, or Fruta Extraña.
Hi, my name is AJ Hierro, and I play Victor.
Hi, my name is Muricio Hidalgo, and I play Omar.
Do you want to tell a little bit about the film?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was a daytime horror film, was the original concept, and it touches on the topics of immigration, family separation, and it's meant to be a bit of a social commentary. We shot it here on Long Island, shot partially in Syosset, other parts near Riverhead. And it was, we shot it June of 2019, and the idea was to have it be, release it ahead of the election cycle, because we were kind of making a bit of a political statement there. And I think even beyond the election of 2020, it's still relevant now, as we haven't seen much change in the Department of addressing immigration. So,
what I found interesting in watching the film was, your character, of course, you see. You're a photography student and you're trying to get the perfect fruit, right? Is that what you're looking for in the woods? That I was a little confused about.
I was taking shots for class.
Okay.
So I'm a college student taking photographs, and I come across this strange fruit.
Yes.
At the beginning of the film, as I'm talking to my mother.
Yes.
And that was my Omar's plan for the day, was take some photographs and find something that was extraordinary to him.
Right.
And what I think was great was that's how it started. And of course, it doesn't end that way.
Nope.
So I think the name fit perfectly because it's misleading, especially for a thriller.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I was actually going to ask you, can we, or is it filed under thriller, psychological thriller / horror?
It's certainly, I've been going by calling it a social thriller, daytime thriller as well. I've shied away from calling it a horror film but I do, as over, the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, I've been thinking more with it is really a horror film, because I think true horror plays upon actual elements that, the element of what's real, what could be real. Like, you think about Jaws inspired an entire generation of people to stay out of the water because they're afraid of sharks, and Halloween did the same for babysitters, watching the kids home alone. So it's like, this, in essence, is a natural fear for Latinos, is especially ones who come to this country from elsewhere. They have a natural fear of being deported, facing hatred for not being able to speak the language, and just looking different, and that couldn't really be the furthest thing from the truth of who they are as people.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, and that's upsetting. When that scene comes up, it's very upsetting, because I didn't know what it was about. I wanted to go into it not reading anything, and I knew right away as soon as I saw your character. But I also wanted to mention, it was very interesting how the cinematographer used natural light in this psychological thriller horror. What do you call it?
Daytime horror.
Daytime horror.
Yeah.
That's not your average, thing that they would use. You think dark. It's, and even the subject of the immigration and everything else, or the hatred. I thought that was just interesting, and with and I just felt that I was listening more to the music and what was going around your character, and I wasn't distracted by the dark, the nighttime.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, no, that was intentional. The idea with when I finally developed the story, like I said, originally the idea was I wanted to do a daytime horror, and then it developed into, I'm going to tell this story about, a photographer in the woods. He finds a body, and then it leads on to the whole message.
Right.
But once I figured out what the message was, the idea for the cinematography was I want to keep it in the daytime. It's all natural light. The only lighting that we created was when we did the dream sequence in the film. But the natural lighting was because, to me, it's happening in broad daylight. There was the bit of a subtext to it, was that these are things that are happening to Latinos in front of our faces. Hence, also everybody being centered for the most part in the film. And so it was intentional for sure.
Okay.
With the lighting, trying to be like, it can happen at any time, and and even at that, it's an unsettling feeling as well to, like, in being in the woods by yourself, whether
Yeah.
it's day or night, it's still unsettling.
Now, when you guys read the script, what did you think? Right away, you just wanted to be a part of it?
Yeah, what y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, when I first read the script, I kind of could relate to Omar in the sense that, yes, he's Latino, but, like, I'm first generation American.
Mhm.
So Omar kind of represents that as well. He's a first generation American. He's going to school for photography, and his mother calls him, and at the beginning of the film, she's like, "I'm cooking dinner this weekend. Come over. Do you have a girlfriend yet?" Like, just traditional steps, and I enjoyed that. So when it got to the point where he went through, he got kidnapped, I felt it because I just put myself in a situation where, like, what if that really happened to me or someone
Right.
I knew?
Right.
You come from a loving family, that all-American background, and then for something like this to happen,
Yeah.
it was tragic, and
Yeah.
that's what appealed to me. I was like, I gotta be a part of this. I wanna do that. I wanna play that character who goes through that, that
Right.
drama.
And AJ?
Well, for me, I had to attack this a little bit differently just because, my scene is really short and intense.
Yes.
And I really had to go to some dark places to kind of, give this character some life. And he gave me a lot of leeway. He didn't know what I was going to show up with. And when he saw it for the first time, I saw his face. He was like, I was not expecting that. And I was like, oh, then that's great, right? And he was like, yeah, go with that, man. So, but really where the magic happened for me was when we first started rolling and we started doing our scenes
Yeah.
together. And then that's when me and him, he just like, I saw him just, his eyes, he was looking at me. I'm like, wow, okay, we're in this.
Very intense scene when,
yeah.
Yeah, it
when
was-
you guys meet up.
Their thing was hold natural. Like, I have
Yeah.
this on the cutting room floor is a clip of them. Like, I told my cinematographer because the camera was just right in front of them, and this is before we're getting into the scene, and they were just like rehearsing, and I was like, Jim, press record. And so they did, and I got this like little clip of them like rehearsing, and the fear in his eyes, and like the fear in his eyes too. It was just like instant. I didn't have to give him really any notes. I didn't have to tell him like deliver that more terrified. They like understood the assignment basically, and I couldn't have had a great, especially with Leo, because Leo, he's not here, but he was the villain in the film,
Okay.
and I think even his role was. He was intrigued. He's like, you don't like, I don't say any words. I'm like, and I was like, on top of that, we don't see your face.
Right.
So for him, that was kind of it was another form. He was telling me it was like another form of acting, of trying to be like emote with body language more so than like with my words and with my face and
Which is
everything.
harder.
Yeah,
so
like Michael
so
Myers.
much harder.
type.
Yeah, that was like
Exactly.
you don't ever see Michael Myers' face, but he generates
Scares the
fear.
heck out of you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
generates fear with just his movements or lack of movement.
The figure.
the shape, the
shape.
Yeah.
So where can any of the viewers and watchers, where can they find anything about the film?
So you can to find more about the production company and myself, who made the film. You can follow at You So Stupid Productions on Instagram. Our actual official website will be launched on September the 1st. And for the film, that will be getting released in October.
Oh, okay.
But we're still finishing up the festival cycle.
Yep.
And but it's coming soon, and you guys will be able to see them. It'll be available on Vimeo. And that's.
Congratulations, really.
Thank you.
Strange
Thank you.
fruit or Fruta Extraña? Thank you.